could appoint up to 4 Supreme Court justices, what types of individuals would you appoint to the court? And what are the questions you would want the answers to from them before nominating them for the U.S. Senate?
Well, obviously, you talked to them about their judicial philosophy. I believe I'm an originalist. I believe that that's how you should interpret the Constitution. It constrains the federal government and maximizes our liberties. And I think that, and it doesn't infuse the court into the areas of where the founders anticipated the people to be the ones to decide through their elected officers. And so I believe in a very limited role of the court. I'm a lawyer. Sorry, but I am. Two of them up here. But when I was taught in law school, was the Supreme Court was supposed to decide the issue before it in as narrow a way possible to resolve the dispute. That was how the court was supposed to act. It wasn't supposed to reach out beyond what is necessary to resolve the dispute, and that's changed, and it's wrong. It's not the role of the court to do that. And so I will be looking at people who understand that philosophy. But that's not enough, because I'm sure you know, maybe you don't, but I'm sure you've had some people come and talk to you and who are running for office and tell you that they're going to do certain things, and then they go and do something completely different. And as you know, that happens with Supreme Court nominees too, all too frequently. And I believe one of the reasons it happens is because of the culture in which they live. I had an interesting conversation with one of the Supreme Court justices, just about 10 years ago when I was in the Senate. We were having lunch together and just sort of talking about things. And I was complaining about this and how justices, so many of them come and they say they're going to do one thing, and you think they're going to be really good, and then they come into there and they just move away. And his response was, well, it's the town. So a lot of it is the city in which we're in. And he said, because you're surrounded by government. You're surrounded by power. You're surrounded, number one. And number two, all of the social circles are people in and used to and attached to power of government. And most of them, because of that, are not, do not see the limits on the Constitution that the American public does. And so if you want to be invited, he said this, if you want to be invited to the parties, if you want to be accepted in the social circles, if you want to be approved by the media that your kids read and your family reads, then there's a lot of pressure to conform. And he said to me, that's why after World War II, the Germans, when setting up their high court, didn't set it up in Berlin. They set it up someplace outside the halls of government, out where the people are, out in the hinterlands, the equivalent of Sioux City, if you will. And to make sure that the people were surrounded by the ordinary German, not the person who's in the halls of power. And so now why do I give that very long explanation? I'm going to be looking for someone that has roots. Someone that has real roots that in their life that I know when the winds come a-buffeting, their roots are going to hold them solid. And that's not necessarily legal roots. It's personal roots, it's family roots, it's faith roots, it's all these other types of roots which I think are much more important. And finally, and this is the last point I'll make, I'm going to look for someone with humility. If the person is the most popular person, has been acclaimed and lauded and is seen as this brilliant jurist and this brilliant lawyer, I'm not going to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Because too many of those guys believe their press clippings and they like to read those press clippings, and when they get into the court, they're going to want nice press clippings. And I don't want a judge who is concerned about nice press clippings.